For a very long time now, we've been talking about fussy eating dogs that don't want to eat their food, don't want to eat their meals and things like that. Now, we've covered it from a food point of view. There's loads more to talk about, but one thing we haven't covered is from a training point of view. And it's something I don't know anything about, and as a company we don't profess to know anything about. So that's why we've got Emma Frost from Essex Dog Training, and it's something she does know about. So if you think,
I would hope so.
Yeah. If you think your dog's fussy eating because of a training issue, that's why Emma's here. So, fussy dogs, can it be training?
Yes, definitely. It can be people-led, I would say. So it's not necessarily a training issue, it's a behaviour issue.
Okay.
It's very easy to pressurise dogs around meal times. It's something I think that as a human nation we get very stressed about. If people aren't eating properly, if dogs aren't eating properly, we seem to be a nation of feeders. Yeah. So, you know, it's very easy for me to say, do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, I don't actually like tea, so
yeah. Well, yeah, but what about if I put that in another cup?
Right, okay.
Yeah, what about if I put it over here, you know? So, and that's very often what people do. You know, very often they'll go and get another bowl. The dog doesn't like this bowl, let's put it in this bowl, let's put it in that bowl. And generally, as the dog is not eating, the owner will become more stressed. So then we'll sit and watch them eat. So then the dog will feel more pressure, then they'll want to walk away.
No one wants to be watching.
No, much dribbling. So it is very easy to pressurise your dog at meal times.
Sorry, you said at meal times, and we've got lots of people feed various different ways.
Okay.
2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
But the meal time, as people, we kind of have it less and less these days, but kind of have a meal time. Is that important for a dog?
For a fussy eater, yes. So for my dogs, generally I have like a 3-hour window between kind of 4:30 and 7:30, you know, depending on when it fits in my life. But if you've got a fussy eating dog, I think it's really important that they only get offered a meal at that time, and don't go off to granny or granddad sitting in the corner just to get the odd biscuit, and you know, because if someone was to offer me a donut, I am going to eat the donut, sadly, but I'm not going to want my dinner afterwards. It is sad when you're trying to lose weight, but I am going to eat I'm not going to eat my dinner, or I'm not going to eat my dinner as well, so I might just pick out the bits that I like.
It reminds me of a great video that's online, where they put food in front of a dog and they go to the kibble rather than the raw.
Yeah.
Which for that dog might be absolutely right, and I've spoken lots of times about some dogs prefer kibble. It's just
it's smell related.
Yeah.
So dogs are they smell more than they taste more.
What I've always wanted to do, but I'm not going to do it.
Don't give me raw food.
No, put a chocolate cake in front of my daughter and a carrot.
Some kids these days would eat the carrot, interestingly, they would eat the carrot to spite you. Yeah, they would just like, you know, if that was me now, I'd go, I'm going to eat the carrot. But yeah, so do stick. If we're talking fussy eaters, and we're not talking the dog that's suddenly gone off of its food. So if the dog's suddenly gone off of its food, you need to get your vet checking their mouths for teeth missing and all the rest of it. But generally, if you think your dog is a fussy eater, you've got to stop first of all offering it other food, you know, which makes training quite difficult, particularly if you're raw fed, because if you are training, then I would use kibble. So that will high value the kibble. If you're having fun with your dog, you know, I can do that with worming tablets. So my dogs will actually, if I did tricks with them, then I would reward with a worming tablet. One of them would definitely go and spit it out, and I would have to go and get hold of the dog and pop it in. The other two would actually see that as such high value that they would then eat the worming tablet. Because you've made it fun for them. I've made it fun. There's no pressure on them to eat it, and I've snuck it in, so they
How
think
important
it's
it would be for you to enjoy as well as the dog, because dogs are quite intuitive.
From a training perspective, and it's very easy for us to go off kilt here, but from a training is bonding with your dog. It's not something you do at your dog. So you don't send it into class and say you're going to do 2 + 2, because they're going to go like, all right, I'll do it once, but I'm not going to do it again. So it is a journey. Training is a whole journey with your dog. But kind of from a food perspective, if you've not done any training and you suddenly start trying to train your tricks train your dog with kibble or whatever, they're going to see that as bizarre.
Right.
So they're going to be like, what are you doing? You know, you don't normally act like that around food. So again, if you've got something that doesn't respond well to it, rescue dogs don't respond well to pressure.
Right.
So, you know, if they suddenly feel pressure so generally I would say stick to meal times. Only give the dog 15 minutes and walk away from it. Don't sit and stare at your dog and say, they're not eating. They're not eating. No, they're not going to eat. Oh, let's move it over here. Let's move it over here. Because you're going to make the dog uncomfortable. The dog's going to feel uncomfortable. They're going to walk away. And put it down, pick it back up again. Put it down, pick it back up again. Don't change it. Don't change the brand. Don't change the smell. Don't change anything.
When you've got raw, that's slightly harder. It
is harder, and you probably know more about that than me, but you've got to cover it in tin foil, you've got to put it in a sealable container, and you've got to put it in the fridge. And obviously the problem is once the dog's put their saliva on it, then it's going to start building bacteria. So it could be a pain. So firstly, I'd always start by weighing my dog. Always. If you've got a fussy eater, you must weigh your dog. You don't rely on sight, you know. So generally we'll go, oh yeah, that dog's quite skinny, that dog's quite there. But don't rely on sight, weigh them, because we don't want any dead dogs.
No, the interesting thing about that is that in our experience, I think if you've got a genuinely fussy dog that's down to training, behaviour, we're all learning here. I think people can get obsessed with the weight of a dog, same as they get obsessed with themselves. So certain people, if you're weighing the dog on a weekly basis, when it loses 100 grams and it's a 20 kilo dog,
it's not going to make much difference, is it?
No, but certain people get worried about it. I can understand. We much prefer, you said about rescue dogs, we much prefer to see people in here that are concerned about their dog than see a dog who isn't being concerned about.
And
if you know what I mean.
Yes, now I do. And
so we recommend a rib test. It tends to get people less stressed. Because then you can't tell it's lost 100 grams.
Either or. For me, I think when you're dealing, you know, people get stressed about. We live in a stressful lifestyle, don't we? You know, everybody gets stressed. Social media makes you stressed. I mean, this sort of thing is great, absolutely brilliant, but social media does make you stressed, and you know, like, oh, my dog's not eating this, my dog's not eating that. Well, dogs are like people, and there are lots of trainers in the world, and I'm one of them, that say, you know, dogs aren't people, you have to train them differently. Well, that's kind of true, but psychologically and kind of from a behaviour point of view, dogs have become so domesticated that there are lots of traits where human psychology and canine psychology do cross over. So you've got somebody that's constantly stressed. You need to look at the holistic package. So if you've got a real calm person that actually it doesn't really matter, just pick it up, take it away, that dog's less likely to become a fussy eater. They're more likely to become a fussy eater if you're worrying. And worrying is a natural thing as a parent. So, you know, you do need to just keep calm, as you just monitor the weight then, you know, let's just monitor the weight regularly. And a dog can ease, in the olden days, my mum's dogs used to eat like the roast dinner off the table and then it'd be starved for 2 days, and then they might get a bone off of this, and then, do you know what I mean? So we are a nation of worriers anyway, so from a behaviour issue, it's very easy to make the problem worse. You know, so if you really, really want to kick out the fussy eating, you've got to stick with it. You've got to stick with your meal times. You've got to stick to one food. You know, literally don't offer them a different brand. There's a difference if they're allergic to it or they're getting a reaction, but we're talking fussy eaters. So stick to one brand, one smell, and don't offer them anything else, at least over a week period, if not a 2-week period, you know, and that's all you're getting. You know. And
a fussy eater doesn't lose weight? Because we get that a huge amount. The first thing when people come in and say, I've got a dog that's just not eating and hasn't eaten, I mean, we've had as long a period as 6 months. My dog hasn't eaten properly for 6 months.
I don't believe it.
Well, I don't, but from a nutrition point of view, the reality is the dog, if it